Now, how can newbies, new people that are viewing your life right now, get into the mobile home and RV investment business? With your experience, what can you say? These are the things that they can do that can help them be successful.
Yeah, so I would say that it all depends on your goals, how much capital you have to start off, and that sort of thing. Mobile home communities tend to be a little bit easier to manage, as you can find ones that are fairly lower maintenance, and you can start with smaller sizes and still have it make do cash flow for you and not take up too much of your time. So I think going cold calling or talking to brokers and trying to find some quality mobile home communities could make sense. And then on the RV side, I try to caution against going too small on RV campgrounds, because you really want to get scale to make to get the operational efficiencies that come out of it. I think it's better for the investors, for the guests, and for most involved to target something a little bit larger. So I recommend generally starting off partnering, with someone, or trying to, just ensure that you really study up on it and get comfortable with the space, so that you have a good clear goals, and then trying to go for scale. Personally, I'm a believer that with the RV campgrounds, you really want to be able to build scale.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So invariably, when you look at things, what are the pros and cons when it comes to getting into that space? That's for
pros and cons. Well, I'll start with the cons. You have private utilities are much more prevalent here. Private utilities, they might look good on paper because you got lower operating expenses, but you can have the hidden capital expenditures that come along with them. I know so much more about septic tanks and wastewater treatment plants and different wells and different forms of private utilities that I never had any idea about prior to starting to get more into this space. So definitely that's a nuance that you have to become familiar with. Traditional mobile homes have the pretty significant storm risk, because if there's a tornado or a hurricane and your homes get hit, it can really put you in a tough spot, put you in a little bit of bind depending on the market you're in. Insurance is generally not as easy. I'm hearing in Florida, some providers are pulling out completely, and it's getting very difficult to get good, decent insurance on mobile homes. So that RVs are a little bit different. They're much more storm resistant because they can always pull out. They're on wheels. They can leave if there's a hurricane coming and come back after the fact. So you generally are in a better position to be on the coast, in my view, in an RV campgrounds. Then you have additional risks. You have different legal risks depending on what it is. I think with traditional mobile homes, I think you always run the risk of rent control or different sorts of changes in legislators that could put you at risk of the future valuations of it. RVs are similar but different in terms of the risks, but there's always different risks that are involved with just changes in the way different states and counties, the rules that they set up to run these places. Increased utilities is a risk for increased utility costs right now on the RV campgrounds. Utilities and payroll are the two line items that are going up pretty significantly across the board. So, I think just keeping an eye on that, that's definitely a risk that we need to keep an eye on. Mobile homes are pretty sticky guest based, but RV, you really got to be an active operator because you want to keep your occupancy high. And there could always be a risk of seeing a decrease in demand if you're not creating good experiences, or you have more supply entering the market. The mobile home communities, I don't see as much of a risk of new supply, but certain areas of the country maybe, but generally there's a huge undersupply of that. RVs, I think there's always a possibility if you're in a great location, they seem a little easier to get approved, so you could have some more new supply risk on that front. Operational risk is always prevalent on both, especially with the lack of as many options on third-party management. So those are just a few that come to mind out the gates.